Speaking of things I thinking goes a little too far. Cops. Girl drugs parents' milkshake to go online. They passed out and she logged on. A teenager who thought her parents' 10 p.m. cutoff of the internet was too strict spiked their milkshakes with prescription sleeping meds so that she could go online. Police said it worked. When her parents passed out, the 15-year-old and a 16-year-old friend were able to log on, reports the Sacramento Bee. But when her parents woke up the next morning feeling like death, they picked up a testing kits, figured out what happened, and called police, who brought the girls to juvenile hall. Now, I don't know, wouldn't your first instinct if you just woke up and felt like death would be to go to the hospital? Not just decide to go and pick up drug testing kits? I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just generally not my first thought. They face charges of conspiracy and willfully uh, mingling a pharmaceutical with food, end quote, reports the local Roosevelt today. And what did they do online after the bizarre plot actually worked? Police don't know, and they don't care. Quote, for our investigation, that wasn't as important as the drugging of the milkshake, says the spokesperson. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this topic. I am a parent, as some of you may know, or some of you may not know. In fact, I'm a single parent. I've I've known of kids who've snuck out of their house because their parents wouldn't let them see a certain person and snuck to go see them. I'm not saying it's okay that for kids to just run away. I don't think that, I think we all remember what it is to be kids and feel like we're under the tyrannical rule of some, parental figures because we feel that they're being unfair. And sometimes we parents can be a bit unfair. Am I necessarily saying that the kids were right to be upset about a 10 p.m. curfew? No, no, no. But, I don't know. Am I the only one who sees this as just such an innocuous thing? Granted, if they were just doing this willy-nilly, they could have possibly killed their parents. I fully admit that. But it's likely they researched online what to use, how much to use it, and how to be good about it, which is free information that's anywhere. And all they did was drug the milkshake. Now, I'm not saying these girls shouldn't be punished. I mean, that takes balls right there to drug your parents, all so that you can have a fun-filled night on the internet doing gosh knows what. Although I'm sure people would be like, but there's pedophiles online. These girls were probably being groomed for molestation. Go away. I am sick and tired of this stuff. I had to suffer through Henry Rollins trying to make the case that that online paranoia as well as real life paranoia is great. And Rollins is somebody who I highly respect, but if I'm not willing to take it from him, I'm not going to take it from you, especially considering the amount of research I have done on this topic. But they were obviously fine at the end of the night, other than the fact that they're in juvenile hall right now being charged with a crime, and who knows what effect this could have on their life. And see, that's the thing. Oftentimes in our society, we draw a line in the sand. You are a good, moral, upstanding person outside of your personal life, in the public's view, in the community's view, so long as you never break the law. Now, I don't know law in this area. I have to admit my ignorance of it. Now, of course, I'm not a lawyer. But ground them! Freaking ground them! If they had willfully poisoned their parents, that would be one thing in my view. And I'm certainly not trying to sit here and promote that what these girls did in any way, shape, or form was okay. But god dang it. They tried to cheat the parental system, and now what? They've got to go to jail? They've got to be branded as a criminal, which, as I've talked about oftentimes on my other channel, this can brand people for life. Now, is it likely that people are going to look at that and not hire them, maybe treat them different? Some might not. Oftentimes, the moment that you become a criminal of any kind, no matter how petty your crime was, and no matter what age you were at, once a criminal, always a criminal. And if they're not checking up to see what you got charged with and why, which oftentimes either the reporting stations don't say it, or they're very vague, or uh, you know, or the people just sort of see some sort of vague charge and they don't decide to go further than that. They're not willing to put their trust in these girls suddenly. And suddenly, the entire lives of these girls are ruined over trying to skirt parental rule. Can you start to see why, at least as our society has evolved in our attitudes towards people who have ever been in jail? You are a moral, upstanding person who has every right to human rights until the moment that you ever commit a crime, even if it's just simply stealing a loaf of bread to try to feed your starving family. You then get branded with an unspoken of at times scarlet letter on your head. You become a leper in a colony of healthy people, and people want nothing to do with you oftentimes. Our post-prison, our post-juvenile hall type of record is disgusting. This is why I say that while what the girls did was wrong, this is also the wrong approach. This isn't unlike that guy, the dubbed Facebook parent, who I feel honestly gave parents a bad name because he was trying to prove that dealing with his childish behavior, and I'm not saying that she wasn't exactly in the wrong on some levels there, over a Facebook post, then making a video, being childish yourself, shooting the laptop, and then telling your child that they are going to have to pay for the bullets and the repairs of that laptop over a Facebook post. You've lowered yourself down from the level of being an adult to being childish yourself. And what kind of message are we sending those kinds of kids? I hate the Facebook parents, because there's been more than one, who have popped up, and how much applause these people get for overreacting to innocuous things. I'm sure if Facebook was around when I was the age of most of these kids, I probably would have said the same thing, and I would have been a little shit for doing it. Pardon my language on that one, but let's be honest here. But ground me. Be a parent. Be a healthy parent. Show what it is to be an adult. Don't lower yourself down to the level of being a childish adult and then expect that you're teaching them a valuable life lesson. You're not. And what's this going to teach these kids? Oh, when my kid, if I have a kid, because again, these are girls, who knows what their life will be like, that if my kid ever tries to do anything against me, my immediate reaction must be to overreact to the situation. Should these girls have been punished? Yes, absolutely. You just don't do that to your parents. But should the law be involved in something as innocuous as this? No, I'm sorry. Screw you. If you think that that is a viable solution, especially given how this can mark these girls, unless they get a deferred judgment, which I would hope they would, where if they do community service after their stay in juvie, or if they stay in juvie, this is wiped off their record, which I would hope, then maybe they have a hope, but that still does not stop the fact that this is overkill. I would never do this to Joshua if he did it to me. I would sure as heck ground him, and I would be very responsible as a parent to take care of him. But jail? No, I'm sorry. That's too far.